Hello everybody and good morning. Sorry we're running a little bit behind today, but we are going into chapter 5 of John Maxwell's Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. So before we jump into that, we're going to go ahead and invite a few people onto here. Invite
all the peeps.
Yep.
And I got this. Okay. Yo. David Roeder.
Alrighty. Alright.
All right, guys, we're going to run through this. This is chapter 5 of Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. So how does leadership work? It says leadership is influence. John Maxwell pretty much says that in every book. Influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? That's the quote. So instead of having leadership conference, let's have an influence conference. How do you influence people? So number 1, does everyone have the potential to be an effective leader? Good question, right? It's a question he gets asked. One of the most often questions he gets asked is, are leaders born? And he's like, yeah, of course leaders are born. And he knows what they mean, but it's just kind of a funny question. The question he actually is that he's usually getting asked is, are leaders just born into it, or are they trained into it? And he says, yeah, there is an aspect of, some people just have the disposition or the personality to automatically become a leader, but all of the skills are learned. It says anyone can become better at it. There's 3 things that develop leaders. Number 1 is the environment, the incarnation of leadership. Leadership is developed, not discovered. Developed, not discovered, meaning you're not going to put somebody through some training and then all of a sudden they're going to have this breakthrough and turn into a leader instantaneously. Like, you've got to show them the skills and kind of walk through it. So it looks like this. Leaders are already challenged. They focus on the future. They affirm and complement the environment. They're pushed out of their comfort zone. They're excited. They're excited to grow and learn new things. It says people want to promote and succeed. That's who you're looking for. Growth is modeled and expected. So that's what you're looking to do. Benny, are you also on for a conference call? No. The show is only on Facebook Live. So number 2, exposure and inspiration for leadership. It says, get around those that lead well. Attend and listen to everything you can by them. So, when I started learning about John Maxwell stuff, I bought more and more of his books, and there's a lot of them. I looked up what were the best ones, and I think I got those first and went through those, and then I learned that a bunch of his trainings were actually online. So I started learning about those trainings, and I got to the point where I had read enough books and I had listened to enough of his trainings that I wanted to put together kind of like a master course, one book, one training a month, that was going to become the training that I was going to go in and help people teach. And then a good friend of mine, Maureen Kelly out of Michigan, said, do you know that they already have that, right? And I was like, well, John Maxwell has that speaker thing online. She's like, no, it's speaker, trainer, coach. You learn all 3 simultaneously, and you're licensed to go sell his stuff. And I was like, oh, no, I didn't know that. So I went ahead, made the call, got started, signed up, went through his courses, and then ended up getting the certification to be the speaker, trainer, coach. So that's kind of how that went. But when you find people who are kind of amazing at what they do, you want to learn absolutely everything you can from them and about them. So get around those that lead well, attend and listen to everything you can by them. Number 3, equipping. Intention for leadership. So you have to be intentional about what you do. Leadership is influence, and for that reason, it can be taught. It can be taught. Sometimes it takes a little longer for certain people. Some people, just get it the first time they hear it. Some of us need to have it pounded in between our ears over and over and over again until we kind of pick up some of these lessons. Number 1. I'm sorry, not number 1. It's just the first one here. You can lead to connect with people. You can learn how to communicate with people. You can learn how to plan and strategize. You can learn how to prioritize. You can learn how to get people to work together. You can learn how to train and equip people. You can learn people's personalities. You can learn to inspire and motivate. The one thing that you can't have the great impact on your leadership, the one thing you can do to have more great impact on your leadership potential is to intentionally do so every day by basically being equipped to lead. So like preparing is what he's really saying. You can start by just preparing, read every day on leadership, and you can become a better leader. So what is your plan for leadership growth? Like, or do you think it's miraculous it's going to happen? I mean, what I thought about leadership before I read any of his stuff is, well, I'm going to work really, 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 really hard, and then eventually, all of a sudden, I get there. I make it. Like, how is that possible, right? How is that even possible? So, how can you be a leader right where you are, even if you're at the bottom? Well, leadership is influence, and influencing others is a choice. So even if you're at the bottom position in your company, you can still become influential by going out and helping other people, really. It says with influence comes responsibility. People of positive influence add value to others. So it's like by learning some of these techniques and helping other people, you automatically become more influential. What are you doing to help? What are you doing to contribute? What are you doing to give back? That stuff has nothing to do with your title. That stuff has nothing to do with your level. That stuff has nothing to do with how many people you've recruited or how much volume you moved or what pin you have in the business. You can do that stuff right away. So 3, what is the ultimate purpose of leadership? It says listen to their stories and ask questions. Listen to their stories and ask questions. Make their agendas your priority. Believe in them. Discuss ways to accomplish their vision and create plans with them. Help them until the vision is accomplished. The 4th is, it says, what is the difference between delegating and dictating? It's supposed to be and dictating responsibility. Dictating is go do this. Like it's an absolute order. Delegating is there's this to do. Who out of you is the best person for it? It's kind of letting them, leadership is taken, not given. So when you open the door with a group of people and you kind of pose the question and somebody says, hey, that's me, I'm going to go do that, then you're able to delegate that. Hey, this needs done. I'm able to get what needs done, but somebody chose to do it out of the group of people who had the skills to do it. Now do you have the desire? What is the greatest challenge in answering the call to leadership? It says the greatest challenge in leadership is making decisions that affect other people. When you're leading, you're making decisions that affect other people. Are you doing a good job? It says, there go my people. I must find out where they're going so I can lead them. That was actually something that was said in the French Revolution. Like, there they go. I better get in front of them and ask them what they're doing so I can lead them. So you have courageous decisions. What must be done? What must be done here? You have priority decisions. What needs to be done first? So these are questions you need to ask. What needs to be done and what needs to be done first? Challenge decisions. What must be done differently? Okay, where we're at is not getting us to where we want to go. What needs to be done differently? We kind of asked that a couple months ago, and I said we need to make a 90-day run, which actually starts today. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to sweep him up. what he needs is education to turn him around. That's Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn always has the best quotes. I don't know where he gets his stuff. Creative decisions. What might be possible? It says 95% of leadership decisions can be made by a high school student. I mean, most stuff is pretty obvious, but it says leaders get paid for the other 5%. The other 5% is the really hard stuff. And John has all kinds of examples of this. You know, there have been companies that have screwed up on manufacturing, and it's going to cost the company millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, you know, almost like crushing decisions. And sometimes it takes the leader to go, you know what, even though this is going to financially hurt us, we need to poise this in the right way and fix it, so that way we can kind of remain our integrity in the field. It says people's decisions. Sorry, I got a call. People's decisions. Who should and who should not be involved? That one's difficult. Can be, you know, depending on the group, you know, because everybody wants to be involved, but necessarily not everybody should. 6, can a leader actually lead and serve at the same time? And the answer is yes. You know, you can start a project and be like, okay, now I'm going to pick up the hammer and actually work on it. What does it take to serve others? Serving others. In fact, probably the best person is the person that says, hey, we got this house to build. Who's best at whatever? And then once everybody's kind of got their thing, what can I do to help? And then you're actually on the job. Now, what's interesting is you're not the foreman that's just pointing directions and saying stuff. You move from the foreman to actually the worker while you're working, and then people come to you if they need help. So can a leader actually lead and serve at the same time? The answer is yes. What does it take to serve others? Well, serving others is an attitude issue. Serving others motivates. Others is a motivation issue, and serving others is a value issue. Kind of like, should you do it? Can you do it? Will you do it? If you value people, you will want to add value to them and serve them. So that's just kind of the basics are. If you're here to help, you're going to do all you can to help these people. What are the top skills required to lead people through sustained difficult times? Number 1 is define reality. You have to know where you're at. Aaron, what's happening? You have to know where you're at. Where are you at right now? What's going on? Remind them of the big picture. A lot of people, they forget why they're doing what they're doing. So what I found is some of the best leaders is like, remember, if you're building a direct sales company, and I mentioned this on our team call last night, we had a team call, or training, and on our team training I said, look, the reason why you're doing this probably isn't, like, the end goal isn't to necessarily, it isn't to be all, do all, you know, with the business. The end all be all is to build the business so that way you can go do the things you really want to do. It's really there to fund. It's really there to fund what you love. It's really there to fund what you want to do. Marty's in California. What's up, sir? So remind them of the big picture. Help them develop a plan. This is something that you constantly have to do with people getting in the business. What is your plan? Now, for my team, I do this with everybody on my team. For people outside my team who want this, it's $250 an hour. Why? Because that's what I'm earning inside my team while I'm doing it. If I'm doing it on the outside, I mean, I could do it for friends. But typically it gets to a point where that's the charge, you know, and people who are willing to pay that are serious about moving forward, and I'm serious about helping them. So there's only so much time that you have to give. You got to be smart about it. It says help them develop a plan, help them make good choices. You know, which direction should I go? At what speed should I go? How far should I go? What goal should I set? Those are all things you need to make decisions on and decide. What is your schedule going to look like? Who do you need to tell? Value and promote teamwork. 6, give them hope. The 8th point in this chapter is it possible to be a leader in all areas of your life? Yes and no. You can lead every area of your life, but you're not necessarily going to be great at all of them. It says, what are the rhythms of leadership? What should you develop, change, take hold of, or let go of to grow into each season? So John says, you know, this was kind of cool. Like, I wish I would have heard this early on. He says, in your 20s, you need alignment. in 20s, you need alignment. Like you're starting to decide which direction am I going. I heard up until the age of 20, the first third of your life, you're supposed to educate yourself. The second third of your life, you're supposed to basically create yourself or work. And the last third of your life, you're supposed to give things away. You know, you're supposed to give your time, your energy, your money away. In your 30s, he said you need adjustment. So you're aligning what you're trying to figure out where you're going. In your 30s, you need adjustment. In your 40s, you want advancement. Like, I need to be moving forward. And John said it's really interesting when you hit about 40 or 45, you're going to hit that moment where you're like, this is halftime. This is halftime. I need to know, what direction am I going? Have I been going in the right direction? He goes, there are some questions you need to ask yourself. In your 50s is assessment. Like, am I being effective? Does this make sense? In your 60s, ascendance, you know, am I going up? And in your 70s, who am I passing the baton to? I thought that was a really interesting way to look at things. Winter is the season of planning. You know, a lot of people end up in the winter, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to end up in the winter season, literally this winter season, planning out, okay, what am I going to do now? You know, the economy can change, and it looks like it's going to. The economy is going to change. You know, what season are we in? Well, probably a lot of people are going to go into planning, like, what should I do next? How do I survive the winter? And what I'm talking about is not like the physical season. I'm talking about like the season of life of what's going on in the economy. The spring is for planting. So once you figure out what you're going to do, now you're going to work. You know, it took us, you know, over a year to kind of figure out inside of our own business, well, what exactly are the things that need to get done? What exactly are the meetings and events we need to plug into? And if so, do we need to create anything? It took us over a year and a half to figure that out. And now that we figured that out, now we're moving forward in that direction. So winter, you're planning. Winter, you're planning. Spring, you're planting. In summer, you're basically, you know, perspiring. You're going out and doing the work. Kaylee, how are you? How is Hawaii right now? Actually, it should be really early there. Are you up at like 4 in the morning? 6 in the morning. 6-hour difference, right? Autumn, the season for production. You know, you've got to make sure you get it all in, because there's always another winter season coming. So your ultimate goal as a leader should be to work hard enough and strategically enough that you don't have more than enough to give to others, that you do have more than enough to give to others later. So the whole idea is don't just do what you have to do to get by. Do more, because if you do more, then you always have the ability to go help all these other people. You know, so many people are like, well, my bills, I mean, this is a financial 101. So many people are like, well, my bills are $3,000, so I need $3,000. I'm like, no, you don't. You need at least $4,000, because there's always $1,000 worth of crap that comes up that you don't know about, number one. You should go after $5,000 minimum. Why should you go after $5,000? Well, $5,000 basically gets you in a position where you have a cushion more than just your bills. You really want to go to what? You know, I mean, Maxwell would say, Grant Cardone would say 10x it. You want to go from 3,000 to 30,000. Okay, 30,000 would be more of a big goal, but you know, you really want to be double what you think you need, right? Because if you're really living off of 50% of what you need, then you have the ability to contribute and give back. Guys, do you know how different your life is when you have to have $3,000 to live and you go make 6 or 8 or 9? How different things become? Like, I will tell you, you sleep differently. You talk to people differently.
You make decisions differently too.
You contact people differently. I mean, it gives you all of these different advantages. So do more than what's required. Go after more than what's needed. So many people live at the minimum. And when you live at the minimum, here's the thing. If you live at the minimum, you're not attracting great people. If you live at the minimum, you're not attracting great people. What you're attracting, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And if you're a minimalist, meaning I'm only going to do the minimum here, I'm only going to work just hard enough to get in the door, that's not enough. You have to exceed the limit if you want great people on your team, if you want people to follow, if you want this kind of thing. So that's chapter 5. Really good. This book is really, really good, because it does make you ask all those questions about who you are and what you are and where you're headed and why you've done what you've done. A lot of evaluation. So tomorrow is chapter 6. Beth said, I think I got a message from her that she's doing chapter 6. If she's not doing chapter 6, we're doing chapter 6 has happened tomorrow. But I believe she's going to be on doing that. Andrew Feiner, what's up, Sarah?
So if you guys would like to see that part, Bess will be doing it tomorrow. So you will see it on Bess McCarty's page. If not, we'll double check on that. If you can't find it there, then we will do it.
No.
We're just waiting for her to get her book in. It was a little slow coming in the mail. So anywho, by the way, Benny, we are not on free conference call on this show. This show is only on Facebook Live, and then we download it to YouTube. So that would be why you couldn't find it on free conference call. So if you guys would like our notes, go to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group, and we're going to post these notes there. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Awesome.